Now at 5:30 on WKYT this morning, the trial of a man accused of killing a UK employee continues today. We're live looking ahead to the day in court.
Also on WKYT this morning, the Kentucky Public Service Commission will hold a meeting today on Kentucky American Water's requested rate increase. We'll have details on that meeting coming up this morning.
And Hillary Clinton makes history to become the first female presumptive presidential nominee in U.S. history. We're on the campaign trail ahead on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Well, good morning. Welcome to WKYT This Morning on Tuesday. It's June 7th. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Meredith Jones in for Rebecca Smith. And it's quite wet out there right now, but luckily it seems to be holding up the rain, at least for now.
Yeah, we had a passing shower in the overnight hours, at least in the Lexington, Richmond, down the I-75 corridor. Most of that is moving on out. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Yeah, now we have a couple of showers outside. Those rumbles of thunder really starting to fade as I speak. And you're still going to get a heavy downpour here or there right over Russell Springs here any minute if it's not already. So heads up Cumberland Parkway and also work your way across that 127 corridor. Next in line is going to be Buckhorn. You're there in northern portions of Perry County and also rolling right toward Knott County. So Pippa passes, Hindman. Yeah, it's coming for you guys here in just about 30-45 minutes. Temperatures by the afternoon, we'll get that rain on out of the way. Temperatures by the afternoon at 77, a really nice day in store. It's fantastic weather, and it gets even better the next couple of days. I'm going to show you continually increasing temperatures as we head towards your weekend, though. So we go really cool and then really warm. I'm going to have that coming up in a few minutes.
Okay, the trend is set. Thank you, Micah.
Well, this morning, the trial of a man accused of killing a Lexington man and stuffing his body in a barrel continues.
Police say Mark Taylor murdered Alex Johnson 2.5 years ago. WKYT's Mark Barber is joining us live in our studio now with more on what we can expect today. Mark?
Good morning, Bill. Well, today we expect to hear testimony from the man who kidnapped Alex Johnson. The 32-year-old's girlfriend is also expected to take the stand today. She says that she was on the phone with him the last night anyone saw him. She says she even heard him welcome Mark Taylor into his home. Prosecutors say Taylor kidnapped Johnson with the help of one of his co-workers, Timothy Ballard. Johnson's body was found, beaten, and stuffed into a barrel in the Kentucky River a month later. The prosecution told jurors during yesterday's opening statements that they have surveillance video from a nearby business that shows Taylor beating Johnson.
In the back of the car, Alex was gasping and he was gurgling. You will see the defendant stop. He will then walk around the car to the passenger side, open that door, and begin to hit Alex again and again and again.
Trial for his murder. Prosecutors say greed drove Taylor to kill him. They say the man who worked as a chef at the University of Kentucky also sold large amounts of marijuana. Prosecutors told the court that Taylor killed Johnson to take 15 pounds of marijuana and $30,000 in cash from him. The defense says the only witness to all of that is Timothy Ballard, the second man charged in the case. Ballard is not on trial, though, today because he took a plea deal. As part of that deal, he's expected to testify against Johnson today. Day 2 of the trial starts at 8:45 this morning. Bill?
Mark, thank you. In Louisville, memorials will be held all week long to pay tribute to the greatest. Hundreds of people gathered outside of Muhammad Ali's childhood home last night for a memorial service. Even in death, those at the memorial said Ali's spirit is still bringing people of different faiths and even different ages together. And those in the crowd we talked with say they want young people to learn a lesson from Ali.
Dude, there's a lot of positive kids out here, and for them to come out and show the positivity, it just shows a lot about our youth.
You know, we have a lot of dope dealers in this community, but we don't have a lot of hope dealers in this community.
Whoa! We're also learning more about memorial services for Muhammad Ali that will be held later this week. On Thursday, an Islamic funeral prayer program will be held at noon at Freedom Hall. That is open to the public. And 14,000 free tickets to that will be handed out at the Freedom Hall box office this morning at 10 o'clock.
The public memorial service will be held at the KFC Yum Center in Louisville Friday afternoon at 2. There are 15,000 free tickets available for that service. Those will be handed out starting at 10 tomorrow morning at the Yum Center box office. Ali's family announced Will Smith will be one of the pallbearers at his funeral. Now you'll be able to watch the service live on WKYT.com.
Well, turning to politics this morning, voters in 6 states will be heading to the polls today, including the biggest prize, California.
Today's contests come as Hillary Clinton makes history to become the first female presumptive presidential nominee in U.S. history. But rival Bernie Sanders says he's not backing down. Chris Martinez has the latest from Los Angeles.
On the eve of today's nominating contest, presumptive Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton urged voters at a star-studded fundraiser in Los Angeles to deliver her a big victory in California.
Get everybody you know to come out and vote tomorrow, and then let's go forward and win this election in November.
The former Secretary of State made history Monday, gaining commitments from a mix of elected delegates and superdelegates to become the first woman to ever top a major party ticket.
We are on the brink of a historic, unprecedented moment.
But Clinton's rival Bernie Sanders is pushing back. Yesterday, his campaign released a statement accusing the media of rushing to judgment.
In every instance, we beat Trump by far larger margins than does Hillary Clinton.
Clinton's likely Republican opponent, Donald Trump, heads into today's contests unopposed, but also under fire from members of his own party.
The latest backlash erupted after he criticized the Mexican heritage of a federal judge presiding over a lawsuit against Trump University.
I think he's an honest guy. Mexican or not Mexican, all I want him to do is give me a fair shake.
Yesterday, Senator Lindsey Graham became the latest Republican to condemn Trump, calling the remarks un-American. Graham called on Republicans backing the presumptive GOP nominee to rescind their endorsements. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Sanders will evaluate results from tonight's contest, which include his home state of Vermont, where he will reportedly begin to assess his campaign. The White House says President Obama is preparing to endorse Clinton in the coming days. Well, there's been a major fallout between the Republican National Convention and popular website BuzzFeed. The site is refusing to post any Donald Trump ads. They terminated an earlier contract with the RNC. BuzzFeed's CEO said, quote, "We don't run cigarette ads because they are hazardous to our health, and we won't accept Trump ads for the exact same reason." The RNC spokesperson fired back, saying that they never really intended to use BuzzFeed anyway. The ad deal was valued at $1.3 million.
The mother of a boy who fell into the gorilla exhibit at the Cincinnati Zoo will not be facing any charges. Prosecutors in Cincinnati said they could not find a reason to charge her. They say the mother was attending to all of her children at the time, and the boy simply got away from her. Video showed the gorilla dragging the boy through water at the exhibit back on May 28th. Zoo workers shot and killed the gorilla to rescue the boy. Investigators say he climbed over an outer barrier before falling about 15 feet into the exhibit. They say the boy was lucky he survived.
Quite frankly, I don't know how he wasn't hurt. He did not have a concussion. He did not have broken bones. He may have just tumbled and landed flat on his back.
In a statement, the boy's family said they are pleased that no charges will be filed. The gorilla exhibit is expected to reopen today, this time with a taller barrier. Well, back here in the Bluegrass, Kentucky American Water is asking for a rate increase, and the change could affect more than 100,000 customers in central Kentucky.
You can voice your opinion on the rate increase today in a public meeting. WKYT's Mike Byer is at our live desk with what you need to know about the meeting. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Meredith. The public meeting will be held at the Bluegrass Community and Technical Colleges Conference Center on the Leestown Road campus. The Kentucky Public Service Commission is holding the meeting on a request to increase water utility bills for more than 100,000 customers in and around Lexington. Kentucky American Water is asking for a rate increase that would add about $6 to the average customer's monthly water bill. The approval would increase its annual revenue by about $13 million per year, or about 15%. The company says it needs to recover the cost of system improvements and major construction projects that have been finished since the last rate adjustment in 2013. Now, the informational part of the meeting will begin at 5:30. The public comment portion will follow right after at 6:30. In addition to the meeting, the PSC will conduct a preliminary hearing in the case at their offices in Frankfort on July 13th. At the live desk, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Thank you, Mike. Well, we're about a month away from 4th of July celebrations, and this year Lexington's fireworks show will have a new home. You may have watched the test show last night at the UK Arboretum near Commonwealth Stadium. That's the new venue for the annual show. Commonwealth Stadium will not be open for that show, but all of the parking lot around it will be. The Downtown Lexington Corporation is asking for anyone who may have seen the fireworks show last night from their home to email them so they can make a map showing where the best viewing locations will be. Now you can find that email address on WKYT.com.
Looked like a small crowd gathered last night to see
a little preview.
A little test.
Yeah.
All right. Time this morning is 5:40, and let's check live drive traffic now. See what's going on early on your Tuesday. And here is a look at the Lexington. First off, our map this morning indicating current traffic is good throughout the region with no reports of any issues. Now the Lexington Fayette County government live drive cam, and we'll get to that at this location, Versailles Road and Forbes Road. It's looking good in the early daylight out there.
Yeah, not a lot of people on the road quite yet.
It's good to have you along on WKYT this morning. A lot more news coming right up.
That's right. It's a good thing to stay busy as a bee some days, but you probably don't want an actual swarm of bees hanging around. That's coming up after Micah's forecast.
And we still have a couple of rumbles of thunder to the south and the southeast. That's going to push on through, and some dry days and much cooler days in store the next few days. We'll have that coming up next.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Yeah, these thunderstorms really calming down. I say thunderstorms. There were only 3 as they pass on through. If you did get hit by some of these rumbles of thunder, you're one of the unlucky ones that woke you up in the middle of the night. There's just not much out there. And you look across the area, this is exactly what it looked like an hour, 2, 3 ago. And look, it's continuing to make its way down toward the southeast. Let's start off with what's going on over toward the east. And it's just a batch of rain right now, not so much thunderstorms. Pulling out of Jackson, rolling toward Hazard. Hazard, more than likely, like I talked about 30 minutes ago. You'll at least get some out of this, but it won't be much. Hindman, Pippa passes, no doubt about it. You will get the bulk of this as it rolls on through. And then you look toward Prestonsburg, places in between Prestonsburg and Weeksbury. That's where you're going to be seeing some of these showers rolling through here in just about 30-45 minutes. One heavy downpour just to the east of Russell Springs, east of 127. About to roll right over places like the Cumberland area and Somerset. More than likely you'll get some out of this, but this looks to say to the south of you, at least the heavier downpour. So right along that northern Monticello, or not Monticello, but Wayne County area, and also southern portions of Pulaski County. That's where you could see one of those heavy downpours. Then we go through the day. The day's really, really nice. However, you can't rule out a small chance, very small chance of rain, far north and northeastern zones, and that's about it. And when I say a small chance, I'm talking about a passing shower, and that's it. So just heads up for that. I just can't rule it out. The next 3 days, here's the breakdown of it, is things are looking really nice. Like September, that September feel outside, low 70s. For tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. Thursday, another awesome day, mid to upper 70s. No problems these 2 days. Friday, however, things will start to change. More than likely for the worse, depending on the way you look at it. 80s back in the forecast, and then a couple of rumbles too. So we can't rule out a couple of rumbles on Friday, especially north of I-64. That's your best bet. And then we look toward the weekend. So like I said, they'll change for the worse because we go through the next few days, and these days look really good. Then Friday is kind of your changer, okay? Game changer. 84 degrees on Friday, like I said, a couple of rumbles of thunder. And that is that warm front passing on through. And boy, will we get some warm air in here. These are the hottest temperatures that we have felt in quite some time. 90 degrees on Saturday, 92 on Sunday. As we go from the 70s to the 90s, it's just flip-flops back and forth. But you know what? If you've lived in Kentucky for a year, you know that it is weird weather, and it does this from time to time. And here we go toward the weekend, guys. I'm gonna have to go do some, just out of my mind, when's the last time we actually hit 90 degrees? More than likely it was last year, but you know, it's something that I'll go look up and I'll have to you guys in just a few minutes.
Okay.
Interesting night.
Yeah, right. A little trivia for us.
Yes.
There.
Right.
Time is 5:47 right now. So you park your bike, you go to work, and you're busy as a bee until lunchtime or so.
And then you walk outside to find thousands of actual bees swarming around your bike. Well, that's what happened to a Chicago woman, and as you can imagine, it was quite the scene. 2 beekeepers came and literally scooped up the bees, putting them in a hive they brought. They wore protective gear on their faces, but didn't wear gloves. And they didn't even get stung once. That's incredible. As for Sarah, she got her bike back, and the bees are now buzzing away in a rooftop hive. Prime real estate property they now have.
You got it. Well, that is amazing that, you know, she didn't get stung there after going back to that.
That's incredible.
Wow. Good to have you with us. 5:48 on WKYT as we are moving along toward the 6 o'clock hour on your Tuesday.
Coming up, we'll give you the stories that are making news at this hour.
We'll be checking traffic again, see what's going on out there. We have some health news and more. So good to have you with us on WKYT this morning. Good morning. Welcome back in. WKYT this morning on the air on Tuesday. It's June 7th, 5:51.
Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the stories that we're working on at this hour.
It is day 2 of Mark Taylor's trial. He is accused of killing a UK employee, Alex Johnson, 2.5 years ago. And today we expect to hear from Johnson's girlfriend and the man who admitted to kidnapping Johnson, Timothy Ballard.
The Kentucky Public Service Commission is holding a public meeting tonight on a request to increase water utility bills. It will be held at the Bluegrass Community and Technical College's Conference Center on the Leestown Road campus starting at 5:30.
Muhammad Ali's public memorial service will be held at the KFC Yum Center in Louisville Friday afternoon at 2. There are 15,000 free tickets available for that service, and those will be handed out starting at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. That will be at the Yum Center's box office.
Hillary Clinton is eyeing victories in 6 states, holding critical primaries today, including the biggest prize, California.
Yesterday, the former Secretary of State made history, surpassing the magic number of delegates needed to become the first female presumptive presidential nominee in U.S. history. Rival Bernie Sanders remains focused on winning California today and convincing superdelegates that he is the strongest candidate to beat Donald Trump in the fall.
Tropical storm Colin continues to move up the southeast coast after barreling through Florida. Now, the powerful storm dumped heavy rain in parts of the state yesterday, downing trees and flooding roads in many areas. Florida's Governor Rick Scott has declared a state of emergency in dozens of counties. A new study suggests people who are chronically sleep deprived and working the night shift may be at an increased risk of cardiovascular disease.
Researchers in Chicago say people working odd hours can counteract risks with a healthy diet, regular exercise, and catching up on sleep. Doctors in Denmark found frequent moving can have a negative impact on some adolescent children. They say families who changed residences often had teenagers at higher risk of attempted suicide, especially if the moves took place when the children were between ages 12 and 14 years old.
And a new study from the University of Cambridge suggests selling wine in larger glasses may encourage people to drink more, even if the glass is not filled all the way. Researchers believe the larger glasses could change perceptions and lead to people drinking faster. All right, let's go ahead and get a check this hour of today's traffic trouble spots with our live drive traffic. There you go. Looking pretty clear right now. Everything's looking green as it go. Let's go ahead and check in with Bill to see what's going on and trending on the internet.
Well, it is 5:54 and trending right now on WKYT.com. Kentuckians saying goodbye to boxing great Muhammad Ali before people arrive from around the world for his private service on Thursday and the public funeral on Friday. WKYT will bring you continuing coverage throughout this week of the events there. Also, Hillary Clinton heads into the Democratic primary contests, including California today, knowing that media outlets are saying that she has become the first woman to clinch a major party's nomination. Bernie Sanders calls that a rush to judgment. There will be more on that and Republican Donald Trump coming up shortly at 7 on CBS This Morning. All right, so how did it go last night for that test of the 4th of July fireworks display, which will be moving over to the Arboretum and the Commonwealth Stadium area? Last night there was the test run. The city wants some feedback about some good viewing spots around the city, so let them know what you saw. Another talker, Governor Matt Bevin, announcing changes to the way Kentucky colonels are awarded. Over the years, about 85,000 people have received the honor. Now there will be an online nomination form and more careful full review. On Kentucky.com, Brad Calipari officially added to the roster for the UK Wildcats for the coming season. The 6-foot-tall, 180-pound guard is the son of the head coach. Brad Calipari says he will not put the opportunity to waste. And CBS This Morning is coming up with your eye opener and, of course, our local updates, and that starts at 7. Join us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter or Instagram, and for the latest anytime, WKYT.com.
Yeah, we still have a couple of showers down toward the south, and one's about to roll at least close to Somerset and pass on through. And also, you're looking back toward the east, some of that rolling just to the north of Hazard, Howard Rogers Parkway, heading into Knott County, Pippa Passes, and Hindman as we continue to watch this push on through. So this is long gone here in the next hour, maybe 2 max out of this, and once it's gone, and it looks pretty nice throughout the rest of the day. So a nice morning in store there by 8 a.m., and then we travel off into your afternoon, and we're right around 77 degrees. So leaving this morning won't be a problem here in the next couple of hours, and then afternoon, I don't see much of an issue whatsoever at 77. Believe it or not, it gets cooler than that for a high tomorrow, and then we start to see skyrocketing temperatures in towards your weekend. I'm going to go over that. If you're about to leave, have a good day. We'll see you later. If you're not, stick with us. We got another hour of WKYT News coming up in just a couple of minutes.